Hang tight. Okay. Pledge allegiance to the flag, of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Tim Brown,
Here.
Brad Godecker,
Present.
and Richard Hill.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum.
Carmen, invocation, please.
Dear Heavenly Father, we ask for your guidance and wisdom as we conduct the business of the town. Please watch over us and help to guide us to make the best decisions tonight. In your name we pray, amen.
Thank you. Adoption of the order of the day. Any questions about the agenda?
Nope.
Okay. Minutes of May 12th. Questions, concerns?
I had none. Move to approve May 12th minutes.
Have a
No,
second.
second.
Quick roll call, please.
Tim Brown,
Yes.
Brad Godecker,
Yes.
and Richard Hill.
Yes.
All right, passed 3-0.
Moving on to voucher packets. June 9th. Any questions, concerns at all?
I had none.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Page 1 appropriation reports. The negative $103,000 on the very first page, health insurance.
So, real quick on that, in this year's budget, we had broken out the health insurance by department, and in last year, how we were paying for health insurance was out of one bucket instead of multiple departments. And so that's something that Michaela and I need to go back and fix that. So there's money throughout the whole general fund budget to cover that amount. Just it was split up into multiple departments within the general fund, and we've only been taking it out of the town the general fund, but the town administration.
Okay, page 3, same scenario on
Page 3 with,
general transfer out.
so that one was a little different, with our, you'll hear us call it, you've heard it called the improvement fund. But depreciation is how the Stone Municipal Group folks call that. And so if you remember at the end of last year, we did what was called the pilot, the payment in lieu of taxes. And then we also did what was called the depreciation fund, or moving money from our operating budget into the improvement fund. What had happened is Stone had taken the monies that needed to go to sewer, water, and storm and put it into the general fund, which was the wrong place to transfer that. So that is that transaction, moving it out of general fund and putting it into the appropriate improvement funds. So that's what that negative is.
Okay. And some of the miscellaneous negatives, they're all getting kind of corrected over time,
Right.
head in the right direction.
And that is as there has to be a place that you pull the money out of when you are moving the money around, and it may not have been appropriated. Like, so credit cards is another big one. We pay for that out of one of the funds, but it's actually just, we're moving the money to where the actual needs to be coded to. There has to be a better way for us to do this and treat it as more of like a pass-through account instead of just continuing to show these negatives on the appropriation. It doesn't mean the bank's negative. It's just within the accounting system, it's showing that negative.
Okay. Any questions, guys?
None for me.
No.
All right, so I'll move to approve voucher packet. Date 6/9/26.
Second.
Second.
Quick vote, please.
Tim Brown,
Yes.
Brad Godecker,
Yes.
and Richard Hill.
Yes.
Passed 3-0.
Thanks for putting the quick
So
balance update, please.
yeah, the only thing that I was really going to say that was out of the ordinary that I caught too with the general fund. You might see that it's significantly lower, but that is because of that $400 some odd depreciation transfer out of the general account into the correct allocation. So otherwise, do you want me to go through everything, or we were able to receive a interest from the bank of $35,834.50 from the cumulative account.
Okay. You guys got any questions about that?
No, sir.
Brad?
No.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. You also will see a updated revenue report at your guys' desks. That's because we received lit money that was supposed to be deposited that was not before those were ran. So
What was that?
What's lit money?
just
Local income tax.
yeah, from the county. Which happens every month.
So having this and potentially some of the net, does that counterbalance some of that?
Probably not.
So it was the highest amount that we got, I believe, was 120 something thousand. Which would it would vary our revenue numbers.
So from a standpoint of getting the lit local income tax prior to the meeting, is there like a guideline, or do they have to have
We
this?
got it in time. We got it in time. It wasn't receipted in time. So that's why it didn't show up on your the revenue report that you guys were given in your packets, because it was already ran before it was receipted in. It hit our bank on time.
So this isn't something that's gonna reoccur all the time, right? It's kind
No,
of one and done.
we just manually have to receipt something in for it to show up on that report. So there was a situation where it didn't get receipted in.
Okay. Right.
Yep, it was found in the bank. You're welcome.
Are you gonna speak on the government contract at all, the old business?
So Jenny left me. She said there are really no updates. We're kind of on a hold until all the bank recs are done. She is waiting to get with Deb to talk with her about how to reconcile some of these accounts, because previously there were being bulk transfers kind of to reconcile everything. So it's mainly our utility accounts is what it looks like are having a hard time getting reconciled. So we still have to Jenny's gonna get with Deb on how to best do that. Because local government services will not start with us until we are, I believe, to March. I believe current and everything is clean slate at March.
Okay.
And
So Jenny has not had to use.
And Carmen, you're staying in touch with
yes.
Adam.
Bulk adjustments were provided, but again, Jenny doesn't feel comfortable making bulk adjustments. So Stowe Municipal has said these are the adjustments that need to be for the specifics, and not just to make a bulk adjustment, which
I respect
is
that.
totally valid, but it's also.
That's the thing she's gonna get with Deb on to kind of understand
And then she
break
was
it
on
down.
vacation last week, and so I'm not, yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, new business, Carmen.
Well, actually, I'll just introduce, I don't know who's gonna speak first, or if Gary's just here to look pretty. Yeah, so I've got Gary Horn here. It's been a couple years since he's blessed us with his presence for more logistics, and then Jeff Bennett's representing Denton's, and they've got a small presentation to chat with you on, or to present to in regards to their abatement. So I'll turn it over to Jeff.
Thanks very much, Carmen. Thanks for the chat. You will be brief. I'm Jeff Bennett with the Denton's Law Firm, and as Carmen mentioned, Gary Horn, who's the Chief Development Officer of Moore Capital. You're very familiar, I'm sure, with the Moore development buildings out by the interstate. And with your permission, I'd like to pass out a map of that property, just because we're going to be talking about one section of it in particular, and it might be useful to be able to see it. Candidly, it's kind of an old map. There are one or two things on here that did not get built,
Thank you.
but the part that we want to talk about is clearly definitely on that. Thank you. So this has been going on, this development's been going on for 5 or 6 years, something like that.
2019, I believe.
Okay, a little longer than that. The map is dated 2021, so for whatever that's worth.
Was COVID in 2019?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
2019, 2020? We got it approved out in the parking lot.
Oh, with the tent?
Yeah, it was 10 during COVID.
Were you here with that?
Yeah, he was there.
Yeah. And you can see the interstate, you can see the buildings that are along the interstate there. Quite a bit has been built out there. One building has been built twice, as you all know, because a tornado struck. So there were some aspects of this that didn't go according to plan. And some of the buildings that are there were actually put up ahead of schedule. I won't go deeply into that, but in lots 4A and 4B, those were started about 2 years earlier than originally estimated and completed about 18 months earlier than estimated. Lot 3A was started and completed about 2 years early, and that's fully built and leased up now. And I should explain, lot 3 is in the yellow section. It's the top lot along the, and we refer to lots 3A, 3B, and 3C. This lot 3 has been sort of, for development purposes, divided into 3 lots, sublots, I guess I should say. 3A is the one that's closest to Graham Road. That's the one that has been built fully and leased up. There are still 2 pieces of lot 3 that are yet to be completed. They do have foundations in place, and they also have infrastructure as well. And there's also infrastructure there for lot 2, which is the other yellow lot, which is a little bit to the south there. So all we're really talking about today, I think, is the yellow portion of the map. Notwithstanding the fact that a lot of these buildings were put up a little bit early, we've had a couple of situations for these 2 lots in which we've kind of run up against the original estimate of how long it would take to construct, and that's really why we're here today. And I might turn it over to Gary to kind of explain what happened and why that was.
Yeah, as you see, lot 3 shows a single building there. It's probably 24 months ago, 28 months ago. The market started to shift towards smaller buildings. You know, the big bombers were becoming too prevalent. Mount Comfort, I think, had 8 or 10 buildings over 800,000 square feet. So it was problematic. So we chopped up lot 3 and we were building 2 350s and then about a 179 on that lot. And that was kind of a pivot, you know, really driven by the market. We started that project, you know, 3A was going up fine. You know, the market, you know, shifted again, and we really kind of just put the brakes on it. We had already had the pads in on 3B and 3C. They're cement stabilized pads. All the infrastructure's in place. We put all the capital into it, you know, to do all that, but it really didn't justify the market. You know, I mean, I think we're at about 16 to 18% vacancy in the market. So, you know, we put the brakes on it. You know, not knowing how long it would take to pick back up, but I think we're close to the corner, if not turn the corner a little bit. So I think that, you know, the time has come to kind of revisiting, finishing off those buildings and doing something on the final lot for 1 million square footer. We are under contract to sell this tract, 4A, 4B, 3A, 3B, 3C, lot 2, and any residual land with it, of which is a piece that kind of goes down towards Whiteland Road, the wooded area down there. So we're basically under contract to sell that to Ambrose, local developer and property owner here in town. And their plan is to go vertical. I mean, they're just like us, but they want to go vertical on the buildings. And, you know, to be competitive, I mean, obviously they need a tax abatement to go with it. So, you know, we'll be submitting for an extension of that in the future.
I had spoken to your counsel about the right way to approach this a few days ago. And I think the thought that emerged was that with your permission, we would first consult with Ambrose, the likely potential buyer of this, coordinate with them, and then submit what would basically be an amended statement of benefits form. It would amend the original statement of benefits that was filed whatever, how many years it, that would update the proposed timetable to do it in light of the much better market conditions now that frankly have been kind of beyond anybody's control for a while. So, and I presume that we would get that file and you would consider it at a future meeting, perhaps in July, whenever it's convenient to do that. So that's what we propose to do. When we filed our CF1s, we included a request attached to the back of that, respectfully to consider working with us on an extension of time in that way. And that's why we're here today, to ask in person as well. And then we would do it, as I say, the amended SB1, assuming that meets your pleasure as well. We can answer any questions that you've got, or
For clarification, I might add that as to what is lot 2, I don't have the original SB1 in front of me, but I think that its start and completion dates are still in the future. So I just wanted to be clear that from a timing standpoint, they are being proactive. They're recognizing that at this point in time, they're not going to make, most likely. Am I right about
I'm
that?
actually not sure that's correct.
Oh, okay.
Lot 2, it may have maybe just passed us.
Okay.
Want to be straight up about that.
And we're not sure yet on that point, but it's around this time period.
Yes.
That would been required to start. I just wanted to make sure you were aware that it wasn't a significant after the fact request, I might say.
So from a standpoint, they're in compliance now, but potentially they're in negotiations to sell those lots to Ambrose. And then
There's,
what is the ask here?
well, let me address your first observation about being in compliance. You will, after this presentation and the waiver presentation on the agenda, there's the summary spreadsheet that I provide for you. And you'll be given the opportunity to review that. Their buildings are on that, including the building for lot 3A. And you'll notice that the notes and compliance recommendation is highlighted. I did not make a recommendation. I observed that it's a bit unclear. They have 53% of the AV that they estimated they would have by current time period right now. Whether that's considered substantial completion, it's your determination. I provided you some additional information there that I think it's important for you to consider from a statutory standpoint in particular. And also understanding that reason why they are only 53% of what they originally estimated is because they chose, as they described, to build a smaller building than what was originally contemplated.
Because of the market.
Because of the market, and they have 2 additional tracks now that they intend to build, or their intent is or was to build smaller buildings that, when you total them together, would ultimately roughly equal or exceed what they originally expected in AV.
So in having that with the market on your highlighted yellow, when we get to that point, their ask is to,
Well, yes, I'll address that question. I think they're it's pretty much twofold. One, they're explaining why lot 3A is what it is currently. And effectively, they're asking you to still find it in substantial compliance, even though its AV is only 53% of the original estimate. So that's one ask. And their second ask, as I would understand it, is whether you would consider a amendment of their remaining SB1s on the buildings yet to be built, which would be lot 2 and the remainder of lot 3.
3B and 3C, yes.
B and 3C.
Yes.
Yeah. So that wouldn't be able to provide a final answer. They're just asking would you at least consider that so that they can prepare that and present it to you presumably at the next meeting?
Okay. Well, I guess from a standpoint of having two council members who are out, I mean, would we consider hearing their amendment from this perspective here, this body? But I don't think a final determination should be made with two council members being out. I wouldn't want to make a decision without them being here to speak on behalf, yay or nay.
And to clarify, we're not proposing the specific amendment today. We would like to consult with the likely buyer.
Ambrose, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
In order to do that, and then file that amended document for your future consideration.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing that I've read or heard has excluded any kind of consideration or anything like that. I think you guys have been very good partners and put forth an excellent product out there. And so, I mean, we want to see that project continue to completion. So yeah, I mean, I have no qualms with, entertaining new proposals and things like this.
And just to piggyback on what Brad said, that we've always had some flexibility in understanding the market because it affects everybody just from a developer standpoint to, just everybody who's trying to make a living, so to speak. So we understand the economics and so forth. So we've always been somewhat pretty open to understand that and to take that consideration. But would you agree with that, Tim, that you're in favor of?
Yeah, but I'm with you. We need to wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, of course. Yeah, they don't have anything that presents.
Right, so it's,
We're in good shape, yeah.
I'm okay with it.
But we want to keep you posted as well.
I appreciate that.
So.
And answer your questions. I mean,
Yeah.
all the
Yes.
questions about what we've done out there, or what we're doing out there, we have to answer.
I think you have a nice product, and I know that one building that was tore down with the tornado, I was impressed that you basically tore it down and rebuilt it in such a short time for, the
And
Cummins.
please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, yes.
we appreciate you being partners. We want to work with you and make what's best for the Whiteland. So we're open to trying to continue this relationship into the future. So
Right.
one question though. So do we have to, we'll act on that later in the meeting?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's all I had. I appreciate
Thank you
it.
for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Stephen.
One other question. So Mr. Godecker said he's gonna be out in July for vacation. Correct?
Yes.
He can vote now.
So in standing with this, this commentary that we just made, would it be possible to maybe shoot for the August meeting? That way we potentially have all five of us here? Would that be fair, or is that?
Well, the only problem is, Ambrose is gonna wanna know what the situation is, because they go hard on their contract in 2 weeks. So
Well, let me ask you
you
this.
basically say you can't have tax abatement on those lots that they're buying, they're gonna have a problem.
Okay, so would you have your information prior? When are you gonna be gone? I was just thinking maybe you could review the information prior to you and then kind of,
Yeah.
we could touch.
I'm not
base.
going to be on radio silence or anything like that. I mean, if I had some very serious questions or strong objections, I would relay them to you.
You this week, I mean, we have a couple days, we just need to confer with.
Okay, let's shoot for the July, and then I can work with Brad when we get the information, and then, convey the information or questions or something. I don't want to interrupt his vacation, but I don't want to have the same situation we have here where council members are out and they can't voice their opinion or concerns or questions. So I'm just trying to be fair from both sides.
I don't want to put the Ambrose folks on the spot, but one or two of them are here. Want to see if that timetable sounds doable.
Yes, hi, Ambrose. I'm Pat Walsh, I'm with Ambrose, Aaron Shepherd is with Ambrose. Alex with KSM is our tax abatement consultant, so we're here to support Gary and team.
Okay,
To all, yes, that timetable's fine with us.
Okay,
okay,
let me be sure.
all right,
Perfect.
that's fair. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And Gary, I think you're handsome, not pretty. So just for the record.
I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
That bothered me, she said.
Non-compliance, late filing. Carmen, is that you? Or is that Mr. Watson?
Stephen, take the. Don't miss one.
Access Group?
Is there a representative from Access Bank?
Oh,
I'll let you come forward and I'll kind of lay the groundwork here a bit. The Access Group, excuse me, is listed on your summary of CF1s to review. It's on the second page, second row. And by statute, there is a deadline for filing the CF1. And if that deadline is not satisfied, then the only way that they are an abatement holder is able to receive the benefit of the abatement for the following year is if a hearing is held and a waiver of that late filing is given, in this case by the town council. Without that, they lose the abatement benefit for the upcoming year. And it was late by 1 day, and there's a waiver request letter that was in your packet explaining and requesting for a waiver. And they have a representative here to further explain and answer any questions you might have. If you choose to entertain, further the waiver, we'd have to give notice of a public hearing, adopt a resolution at the next July meeting.
so just 1 day? So was it I'm sorry.
Let's go.
Sorry. Yes, sir. So, we were in a meeting held up over time. I received the letter back from our lawyer, had everything drafted up, got held up in a meeting, forgot to get sent, woke up Saturday morning, was like, oh, shoot. Hurried up and submitted it. So it was in by 10 a.m. the next morning.
And so like it says here, last year it was late as well. How many days was it late last year?
Last year, I believe it was a month. And I believe that was based off the lawyer had an understanding that we could submit it late. It was our second year, as you guys can all see. And they had said that there was a misunderstanding of when the date actually had to be in. And she worked, I believe, with Stephen on that as far as like, okay, no, that's not true. It had to be in. So then the accounting team showed up and they represented themselves as far as why it had been delayed. I don't remember what date she thought she actually had. I believe you guys have that correspondence, but that's what happened last year. This year, Access Group and that was my mistake.
And then
lawyers had it.
And then 2 years ago, it was late.
Our first year, so we were all kind of new to this. I know.
Seemed like a pattern.
I hear it. So the first year we all didn't really know as far as the access. So we had a lot of big changes. We didn't really know what we were doing. We had just moved in April. I believe it actually went to an address on file that we no longer were at. So it went to the owner's old home address, which is what I guess Access Group had at one point been registered through the town with. When we actually finished the building in 2024, we had moved in there. And so the packet went to somewhere else. We actually had to request all the documentation to be able to submit it the first year. So I understand it sounds very, very messy, but the first year, like I said, we didn't get the packet. So we have to wait for the letter that you guys send out to be able to do the forms. We never actually received that. We had to request it to be able to submit it. Last year was a misunderstanding in dates, and this year was truly just my personal mistake.
So quick question on the mix up of the dates. So you have to pull a permit, right? And the permit has, because I pulled them, permit has a correct address and contact information, things like that. So how did we miscue that?
Send it over to the lawyers. I don't know if they had someone out on vacation, but she was like, well, we'll follow up on this. I think we have a little extra time, no big deal. And then when she submitted it, we found out that we in fact did not have extra time. So I cannot speak to her confusion on that, because like I said, that was our accounting lawyer. That wasn't necessarily our team. And I'll be honest, I'm pretty green to this. I've worked with permitting, but never tax abatements before.
Yeah.
So again, last year I would say, I don't want to push it on our lawyers because they represent us well, they do a good job, but for whatever reason, she was misunderstanding the dates, or maybe the different forms, maybe there was another form we were working with that she thought she could submit after the fact. Again, I think we have all that documented.
Ma'am, I guess it's somewhat concerning that, you know, 3 years of a pattern that, I mean, you are getting better, don't get me wrong, but I don't know that you have a lot riding on this, so to speak, and it affects the tax rate and so forth. So, you know, I'm all about being fair, and I think the council's all about being fair, but at some point, we're gonna have to draw a line in the sand.
Yeah, I understand.
And so I would highly encourage you to make sure this is on somebody's calendar, that you're proactive in your approach and follow up, and, you know, all the i's are dotted, t's are crossed, and addresses and so forth. Because I don't know how willing the council would be, how open I am to continue this pattern.
I'm not open to it, I'll tell you straight out, because the reason is you're getting a tax break, saving money. This is something that your company should have stepped up and took care of a long time ago. And I understand accidents happen, believe me. I make a lot of mistakes. But my point is, this is a pretty big one, and it wouldn't have been so bad if we only had one, but we got 1, 2, 3. So are we gonna have the fourth one next year? So that's my only concern, is this is a big deal. This ain't something small. This is somewhat really needs to be number one paid attention to, in my opinion, because we set precedent, and what we do for you, we have to do it for everybody else. And that's the whole thing with me, is I like steps. And if we don't keep them steps in organization, then we got to give it to everybody. Everybody should be treated equal. I'm not real thrilled about this. I mean, I'll be honest, it kind of rubs me the wrong way, because this is so important to a business to bring to Whiteland. And we try to work with all our businesses, from what I understand. I know the staff does very well. The staff works with all of them. And I think that they need to step up and do what's correct for the town.
I agree. And I will be honest with you, as far as Access Group, not to give an excuse, but we did have a buyout. So initially we started this with 2 owners. This year in October, they had fallen out. That's their business. So we have been doing a lot of cleanup at the beginning and end of last year, trying to rush through a bunch of things. Again, I understand the date's the same every year. So I hear you. But again, on me as the controller, this is 100% mine, and between the cleanup and all the things, we were having 6-hour Zoom meetings and things. So again.
And I appreciate you being honest and taking responsibility. And I do know for a fact that you have split owners. Okay, I do know some.
Kissick here with you?
He is not. He was down in Nashville. He asked, if, you know, do you need my support? And I said, I think I can handle it. It's my mistake. So I think I got it.
I do think that's very recommended to be here and admit it. I mean, we all make mistakes, but it's just something we need to get straight, because I'm not thrilled about this at all.
Yes, sir. And I understand. And assuming you guys give us enough grace this year.
Brad, what's your thoughts?
Guys.
You're a small business owner. What's your perspective on that?
Yeah, I wouldn't be cut one by the government at all. And so this is a precedent that we would set, and I'm not willing to set it. So like, I mean, if we're going to actually vote on something today, I'm a no. Certainly, I have no idea what the other 2 council members would have to say. If you want to hold this one over till next month and try something else.
That would be my.
It's not passing today, because it will not get my support. So, I mean, I just don't want to set that. Oh yeah, hey, we're very business friendly. I want us to be the most business friendly government body, municipal body anywhere around.
I think we are.
And I agree. And but hey, we have some rules. We're very generous on these packages, and like these are what we require in return. And if you don't do those things, then you lost the chance to do it. So like I would be a no vote. So you guys, if you want to.
I kind of agree with Brad. I think we should wait and give them get Joe and their opinion and see what it is, because I'm with Brad. We said it, we need to make sure we follow with everybody.
Mr. Watson, so just hypothetics and just for the record. So we decide to go next month, which I think that's a fair assessment to have everybody here.
Mhm.
And what are we losing? What are they losing? What are we gaining? What is the financial aspect of this?
I was trying to crunch some numbers in my head on this. The assessed value, as we see on this, approximately $2 million. And using just round numbers on the tax rate of 2%, that equals to, if there was no abatement, a $40,000 round numbers tax bill, if I'm doing my math right. And with the tax abatement, they're probably, let's just say they're in the 80% part of the schedule at this point, give or take. Consequently, 80% of $40,000 is $32,000 that they would be foregoing if this waiver request was not granted. They're going to have to pay $8,000 no matter what, give or take again. And $32,000 is the round number ballpark of what's at stake for them.
And where are we at in our year 3? So we still got 7 more years.
Correct.
Okay.
The other thing I was going to mention, and I had a discussion with Carmen about this, and that is you do have the option to require a application fee for a waiver, and you could decide to amend your down code to require an application fee, basically to cover your costs of processing, that kind of request. And exactly what that fee might be, obviously it's got to be reasonable and tied to what it actually costs you to process it. But that would be one way to at least not be incurring extra costs that you're not getting recouped.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Pay for the time, basically.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're under no obligation to vote or grant any kind of waiver. We've already granted the thing of value. And if it's not appreciated or acknowledged in a way that, I mean, one would think, then, this is an appropriate penalty for not doing things correctly. I think that seems exceptionally fair. And so it would next month would require a motion and a second. So significant support to, get it to a vote. I don't know. Would it even have that? Because
But shouldn't it be a penalty what's high? Reason is we want this done every year. So shouldn't it be, I mean, just for us to do it, would it be cost efficient to make it a little higher than a normal fee? Because this is a big deal to come in and ask for a waiver and everything, and it does involve, because they're saving a ton of money in the whole scheme of things. In 10 years, they're saving a big chunk of change. I mean, if our fee, I guess if
this is just for this year.
right, that's what I'm saying, but we got to make it where it's, I don't know. I think we just need to really consider the price on it, because if it's $200-300, ain't nobody gonna care about $200-300. They're gonna write the check and be done with it. If it's $2,000 or $3,000, then someone's gonna open up and say, "Whoa, we're gonna get penalized." I mean, because $200-300 is not that much for a business, but if you hit them where the pocket is and you charge them for being penalized, that's the only thing I'm suggesting.
Well, but you also factor in that you're talking about that, but you're also potentially removing the abatement
Correct.
is the
That's
heavy
what I'm
hitter
saying.
of the conversation.
I agree,
So-
but if they know it's just, if they can get it with just a little penalty, then they're gonna get it. That's just my only thought.
I would add one more thing, if you don't mind.
Sure.
From a practical standpoint and coordinating with the county in determination of tax rates, tax AVs that are available, and certifying those AVs and so forth. The front edge of that process really kicking in, and basically by July 15, I think it is, the auditor is supposed to certify their AVs for the entire county. What I'm getting at is, if you're willing to, consider it as a 5-member body at the July meeting, I would recommend that it be advertised as a public hearing you have the resolution in front of you so that you have the ability to approve it at that time and not hold up in a sense or create administrative issues for the county by having it go on another month and so forth.
You know, and hearing Mr. Brown, Mr. Godecker, and kind of, I'm kind of on kind of what they're thinking. I think we need to have our other council members here, but I'm a little concerned that there's a pattern here, and we want to be good stewards with you, ma'am. Don't get us wrong. And we want it, but we have flexibility. The first time, okay, understand things happen. Second time, you know, but you know, here we are the third time. There won't be a fourth, I guarantee that. And there might not even be a third in when it comes to the July meeting. So within my colleagues, I'd like to table this till next month. And then on your recommendation, probably do the notice that we need to just make sure that if it does whatever we discussed, that we're following the proper rules. But I don't want to make a decision tonight for or against.
Sure.
So are you okay with that?
Yes, sir. I mean, obviously, I know that it doesn't appear based off of our history, but we do appreciate it. We are a small business, and because of the business that we do fiber. We are intermittently very busy, very slow. Last year was a very hard year for us. I'm sure you guys can see that on our paperwork. So I don't think that, I mean, I hear what you guys are saying, but it's not for a lack of caring. It is truly just a lack of my oversight in this instance. The first year, like I said, it was strictly that went to the wrong address. We didn't get the packet until I think it was like the week it was due or something like that. So again, I hear you guys and I understand, and typically we are right there with you. And more on top of things typically, but I hear you, and whatever you guys decide, obviously that's our choice here. That's what we're doing.
Okay.
So we'll be here next month, and just let us know what you guys need.
That'd be great.
Anything else?
All right. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Talking about tax abatements, we're gonna go right into the matrix. Didn't get off the hook that quick, did you?
Well, you can see what I have provided to you in the way of a summary. And the right-hand column includes my notes and recommendations based upon the information that was provided in the CF1 and other information I was able to gather from the original SB funds and verification through Beacon and so forth. So this is something that needs to be done in order for the county to do their processing. And if there's any questions, I will try to answer.
Going back to what you said earlier, so you know, we do this every year. We have this tax abatement thing and stuff like that, and we're all learning too. But it seems like, you know, this has been a stumbling block for, you know, the Access Group, obviously, and then we've had flexibility with others because of the market. So I would like to interchange we need to establish some sort of guideline on how we govern on what the process is and the protocol for these type of things that come. Because right now we have these things come to that, and it's just kind of opinion on, hey, we're flexible here. We'll be good stewards. We do this, we do that. We don't have anything in writing, black and white, to follow. So
I think we do.
we do.
Yes, like
Well, we
that,
don't have
these,
like a fee here.
right. No, but
Established.
this is what you're to do. And then if they fail to do it, then they may request that we overlook it, but like it's prescribed already. You
Okay, so
must
maybe it
do
just
these
needs
things.
tweaked a little bit.
And then we need to just be like, yeah, you asked for and we granted this thing of significant value. And then if they don't follow through on the thing, then it's done. Like it's been decided. This was already prescribed as far as I'm concerned.
So what were you talking about then? Sorry, Brad. I mean,
Yeah.
if it's there, but what you're talking about doing something with a application fee, or Tim?
Right, I was trying to prevent you essentially losing money or spending money that you don't get recouped for the benefit of somebody who's going to save money. That to me isn't quite fair. quite
Is that something that needs to be piggybacked and added on to the ordinance he's talking about? Or is this some,
ordinance.
or the guidelines that we have on
Well-
this?
The guidelines that currently exist are statutory.
Okay,
You know, the statute is what sets the deadline. And also the standards for substantial compliance. And those are the key things. And of course, the waiver process that follow. Those are really the keys to the process that exist. And you're always going to have individual circumstances that you're going to have to deal with and have to make judgments on. And I'm not sure that we can, I mean, obviously we can, or some sort of a outline of the process and so forth. So it's, you know, well clear to everybody. And it's up to you whether or not that's valuable.
I think we're open-minded to where it comes to the market and economies. You know, we kind of have a little flexibility, but when it gets past, you know, like strike three, I mean.
And not an existing
Yeah.
building, what's been there 3
yeah,
years.
We're year three and we've missed three of them.
I mean, when someone don't pay them, I'm sure there's a fee that they pay for being late. I mean, we all pay a late fee, every one of us, regardless who's sitting here.
Carmen, are you aware of Greenwood or Bargersville or Franklin, another municipality nearby that has a system in place with regard to if you're at, you know, here you pay a fee to request any kind of waiver?
I'm not familiar, Stephen did bring it up, but I will tell you, it's not our responsibility to remind them of their deadline
No.
of May 15th every year. And Stephen and his office prepare a letter, and it's usually January or February, that sends it out saying, just as a reminder, you have an abatement. It's very clear on the steps, like what you were saying, Brad, in the application, when they ask for these abatements, and we've got a couple other individuals here that work on abatements all the time. You know, but it is very clear what they are to say they are going to do. We have had a couple of extensions. We've had a couple of, you know, folks where we've given them a little more pressure than others due to a lack of that communication. Like if somebody's going to be upfront with us and, you know, and let us know, hey, the market's changed, or, you know, these are our reasons why we cannot produce the building. But as far as a deadline, you know, if you pay your taxes late, you know, the rest of us, then we all get penalties. And I'm, you know, and again, I know there are different circumstances for this particular one. Every year, it seems like there was a different circumstance, but it has created a pattern. Like I said, you know, Stephen sends out a letter, maybe that first letter, the first year, it didn't get where it was supposed to go. It happens. We've had a lot of these buildings sell ownership. And so we do our best to look at what is on the county's records, and also what we have maybe in utility, or if something gets sent back to us, that kind of thing. But Stephen's office gives plenty of time. And again, it's not even something that we have to do. And it's to help them make sure, hey, by the way, May 15th, everybody knows May 15th is the deadline for these CF1s to be submitted. So,
And to kind of add to that, part of the reason why we do that and be proactive about that is to try to avoid this kind of situation and having to deal with it.
So, and from our perspective, I mean, I think the town is doing an excellent job, the administration, of setting this stuff up, creating the right relationships. We're trying to be business friendly and, you know, like approve some abatements to get things moving and going. But then again, this is like a filing issue, not, hey, we thought here was going to be our time frame for building and we're 6 months behind. Yeah, that, and you know, they talk to us and have reasons and market expectations. A lot of that things are very reasonable and not absurd. But you know, I would put these things in my calendar. This is done on this day. Here's the procedure to do it. This is done on this day, and not wait till the date was due, but significantly far ahead. And so the lesson has not been learned twice. It'll be learned this time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like it would be learned this time. And I don't think that is unreasonable in any stretch whatsoever. So, I mean, I think this sets a nice precedent. Hey, work with us. We're super easy to work with, but do everything you say you're going to do, please, and communicate well. Otherwise, we're not, like, this is what we do. So you know ahead of time, this is what we do. So make sure you do what you're supposed to do. I mean,
It'd be different if it was their first time. This is driving me nuts. I mean, it is what it is, so I'm with Bradley.
Okay. So Mr. Watson, the other items on here, less these two, your ask is,
Or my recommendation is to find them in substantial compliance.
okay. Except the more
Brad.
logistics in the yellow and then access, or,
What you could do is take care of the low hanging fruit first, which is everything but those two, and have a motion to find them in substantial compliance, and then deal with the other two separately. Unless you had some other idea. And the reason is the more logistics, as we discussed, they're at 53%. They've explained why. And so it's, as I said, it's unclear and it's your discretion to make that determination.
I think that precedent of lack of two council members that we've already discussed on more logistics and access. Like to have a motion on the table for everything except access group and more logistics to be in substantial compliance.
Okay.
And then we'll address those two separately. Is that fair?
Yep.
Second,
Second,
roll call.
Tim Brown,
yes.
Brad Godecker,
yes.
and Richard Hill.
Yes.
All right, 3-0.
Now, the other thing I would,
Am I allowed to make a motion myself?
yes, you
Yeah,
can.
you can. You're being the president.
The heck?
We're not.
Yeah, start doing that more often when you're dang.
Yeah.
We're gonna expedite this stuff. man.
Those two, we need to keep in mind that under the statute, there's a 45-day time period for reviewing and making a determination of whether they are in substantial compliance. Meaning 45 days from the date they have filed their CF1, we are supposed to, council, make a determination whether they are or not. And my interpretation is if you don't, it's implied that it's granted.
Granted.
So,
So May 15th is the due date, right?
right.
So 6/15, that's 30 days. So we're in June.
July, you're gonna be too late.
You're too late, so you're gonna have a special meeting.
So, all right, so we've already approved the other ones.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion. I'm gonna make two different motions.
One at a time, please.
So I'm gonna make a motion with regard to Access Group to hold them not in compliance, because we have to make a determination within 45 days. Now, we can be open to hearing a waiver and appeal and make a decision at that point. But, I mean, I'm not voting yes to approve it. So it's either we approve it or we don't approve it. And so like we will be doing our part by making a decision within 45 days. So I move that we hold Access Group LLC in non-compliance.
Second,
We're gonna make that decision without these two individuals.
Well, that's not a decision on any, like them filing any kind of waiver or asking for a waiver or an appeal or anything like that.
And then I'll add that
that's just getting them
making
to make this.
that finding of or determination of it not in substantial compliance, that triggers additional processes that you have to proceed with, which includes advising the taxpayer Access that you have make that conclusion and giving them an opportunity to come forward and explain why that's a wrong determination that you should be considered
Okay.
in substantial compliance.
And then that would get it back in a full council mode, so to speak.
That's what I'm taking. That's what Brad thought it would do.
Yes.
I thought so.
Okay. Thanks for the clarification. So with his motion, you second. Roll call, please.
Tim Brown, Brad Godecker.
Yeah.
And Richard Hill.
Yes.
All right, pass 3-0.
That keeps us in the right track.
Yeah.
That's what Brad did it for, to keep us going for we don't get penalized for it.
Now, the other one in question was the more logistics park. It's the one in page 1 on the bottom. And so this one's a different question. in that it's possible that the actual assessed value is less than an estimate. Well, we have not found those types of things to be unreasonable in the past. There's an entire plan, phases, that whole process is under, maybe we're selling to a different developer, this process continues. And so they're not late in an application, they've provided it, it just does not fully match the plan. Much of it has been developed, but not all of it.
3, 4, 5 years ago.
Correct. Which, if memory serves, we have been amenable to other similar projects or, and so I would find it reasonable to find them in compliance because they're doing everything. They're coming before us. They're providing us the
Late.
paperwork. Just some of the things haven't gone on the same schedule as what they had hoped or predicted. But then they just offered us a presentation today about potential things happening over the next several months also. And so I would make a motion to accept their application as in compliance.
May I add, please, record that we did receive presentation indicating that the market was a substantial driver in their change and not being able to continue with what they had planned to build on the same timeline and scope.
And it's okay not having these other individuals or just,
Yeah.
okay. Got a motion, second, you spoke, so roll call, please.
Tim Brown,
Yes, ma'am.
Craig Bill,
Yes.
and Richard Phil.
Yes.
All right, pass 3-0.
Herman, I would ask that you touch base with more logistics and access on what cause she left and kind of what we discussed thereafter, just to bring them up to speed on. Okay, thank you. And yeah, and you're still here. I'm sorry. Ordinance 2026-03. You're earning your paycheck, sir.
Okay. All right. A couple months ago, we had a conflict of interest disclosure or a few disclosures related to the fire department that brought to our attention some situations involving fire department employees that involved some related individuals. And in reviewing our nepotism policy, which has certain restrictions as to related individuals being employed and being in a supervisory position, we determined that needed to be reviewed and evaluated and determine whether or not those situations could continue under state statute that regulates nepotism. And of course, also whether it was in compliance with our own town policy. And what we found after things is that town policy on its face as compared to the state statute. And so if we were looking solely at what the state statute requires, our situations with the fire department could be deemed to be in compliance with state statute. If we, well, I'll pause there. And with that conclusion, we wanted to take the next step, or I would recommend taking the next step and modifying our own town policy to more clearly comply with and be parallel with the state statute. So what you have in front of you is a revised version of the town nepotism policy. One version is in red line, and not only does it comply with state statute, but it also kind of includes some belt and suspenders. Kind of a safety valve of sorts. Which, if there happens to be, particularly in the fire department's context. Let me just find the right subsection. The one of these that's. Give me a second. Looks like it's on page 2 of the attachment. Section 2, and it starts with notwithstanding, and that should be in blue, hopefully here.
It is.
In there. And it says that notwithstanding the general exception for volunteer firefighters, in the event a firefighter is a relative of the fire chief, the firefighter's departmental supervisory chain shall run to and end with the deputy of the fire department. Basically, it's somewhat similar to what we did in the town manager situation with Carmen and Slim. And we had to make sure that they weren't supervising one another since they were related. And so we made a clear statement in our town code that they could not and did not and were not authorized to supervise one another. And so it's a similar thing that we're doing here in number 2. We're making it clear that if there is a firefighter that's related to the fire chief, the fire chief has no authority to supervise that firefighter. And instead, that chain of command stops at the deputy. And then it goes on to further say that in the event the firefighter is a relative of deputy of the fire department or other intermediate supervisor in the chain of command, the firefighter's direct line of supervision shall bypass such deputy or intermediate supervisor. So we're just trying to make it clear that if you're related, you cannot supervise a relative. And so we just made that clear, and there were other cleanups on that situation or on this. And I know that one of them too, old version, existing version. I'm pretty sure we had a statement that have 2 employees working in the same department. That's not required by statute. And so that has been removed from the town's policy. It's not required.
Quick question, Mr. Watson.
Yes,
So volunteer firefighter,
yes.
volunteer means I volunteer my time and not expect pay. How come we don't call them part-time firefighters?
Well, by statute, the definition for supervisor, at least in one of the statutes that covers firefighters, you can make up to $20,000 a year and still by statute be defined as a volunteer firefighter.
And that's state statute?
Yes. And that's what part of what we evaluated and relied upon in making our evaluation of the current employees and their situation.
So with this potential change to this, you also are saying that there needs to be a modification to our overall town or is this
That is it.
This is it?
Yeah.
Okay. I misunderstood. Okay.
Well, this looks like a lot of work and language and redrafts, so thank you very much, Mr. Watson,
Yeah, you're welcome.
for this.
Any other questions on this, Tim?
I mean, look, this looks like an appropriate update to make, right?
Yep.
For the town, so I would move to approve ordinance 2026-03.
Have a second?
Yes.
Brad Godecker
Yes.
and Richard Hill.
Yes.
All right, pass 0.
And that is an ordinance. So that'll come back again at the next meeting.
Even
Yes.
Brad's not gonna be at the July meeting. I mean, I guess we don't have to. 'Cause
It-
usually typically the folks that aren't here won't vote on it. Can we vote on it even though they didn't vote on the first reading?
Correct, they can still vote, yeah. It's different than the minutes situation.
Conflict of interest disclosures. Mr. Watson again?
Well, honestly, I need to see what we have. What I'm thinking is it's probably just a carryover from prior.
Carryover from
months.
It is.
Just the funk how there's.
Okay,
Yeah, that's all it was.
probably didn't. Seeing it.
I don't think those particular were in the packet.
They were not. I do have a copy of them right here if you need them.
Well, if you have them handy, that would probably be the.
She's got them right there for you.
Thank you. So we have like 3 conflict of interest disclosures. The first one from Caleb Funkhauser, job title firefighter, LST Whiteland Fire Department. And under item 4A, he's disclosing that I am the brother and son of Dylan and Eric Hauser, who both work for me at the fire department. I like the substance. So again, it's disclosing the relationship between him and his relatives that are also on the fire department. Next is Dylan Funkhauser, also the Whiteland Fire Department. He's job title firefighter. And he disclosing I am the brother and son of Caleb and Eric Funkhauser, who both work for me at the fire department. And the last one is Eric Funkhauser, fire chief of the Whiteland Fire Department, disclosing that I am the father of Dylan and Caleb Funkhauser, who both work for me at the fire department. So those are the disclosures.
So based on this ordinance that needs to have a second reading in July, those are attached to those.
Right.
So technically, since this hasn't passed, that affects the decision on this. So we should table these till next month also. Possibly.
Yes. Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Fair.
I didn't think of that. Yep. Sounds probably right. So,
I bring one good idea to the member
Get it?
tonight.
congrats.
That's it. Town manager report.
For you all that didn't, one I just got yesterday, so.
Thank you.
All right, so first of all, y'all are sitting in new chairs. Hopefully you enjoy them. New table will hopefully, we'll figure out what we like and get something ordered there to replace the table that makes you feel like the little kid at the big kids table. But real quick on the handouts that I provided you, first is received an email yesterday late from Luke Maston, who is the county highway director. They are looking at repaving Graham Road from Hallhan to the town of Whiteland limits. You can see that there's a map, it's in black and white, but it shows town jurisdiction, county jurisdiction, town jurisdiction, county jurisdiction. They basically have asked if we would help to cost share some of the repaving of this road. Basically, anytime the town's jurisdiction abuts a road, whether it be us or the county, we take ownership of that portion. So you can see it's very segmented based on that parcel that is touching Graham Road. With that being said, we do currently, well, not right now, but in the winter time, we go ahead and plow it just because we don't have a place to turn around. So we kind of share some of the tasks there on that portion of Graham Road already. I'm I would hope that if there was an incident where the police needed to be called out, that the sheriff's department isn't out there measuring, saying, okay, well, this point isn't ours, you know, so we kind of tackle these projects together. This is similar. They did this with the city of Franklin on Hospital Road last year, is what Luke had indicated. And they've asked us to potentially cost share part of this repaving. It is just an 1.5 mil in overlay. It's not a permanent fix. Not until something develops there in that farmland will it be a true fix for that road, but that road does need it. The town's estimated portion would be just under 25,000. Technically, this could just be an ask to Richard, but I did want to bring it to you all. We are planning to, on June 23rd, we got the pre-con set up to finish paving Graham Road in front of the Patch property. That would then make all of that part of Graham Road at least a little bit, better when all these trucks start hitting it, coming from that Franklin development. So just wanted to throw that out to you all. I'd like for us to be able, because the way that the email read is basically they don't want to have to pick up the milling machine and set it back down, which again, that's not necessarily the right thing to do, but for them, they would probably do it. So to cost share, the project is just under 25,000 and he's looking at $24,667 and just wanted to bring that to your attention. I'd like to go ahead and try to work with them on that because I've got some other projects that I think, we've been partnering together on some projects and it just shows a good partnership and collaboration. So just wanted to bring it to you all since I did just get that and something.
So are you looking for approval, town council approval? So how do you have county jurisdiction, then it goes to town jurisdiction, then back to county? How does that?
I always call it the backwards E, even though it's like a 3. Okay. So this parcel right here is in the town of Whiteland. All the west side of Graham Road is all in the county. Anytime a town of Whiteland jurisdiction touches that part of the road, that becomes our road to fix or our road to maintain. And so if you think of up on Tracy Road, how the more logistics kind of, we're on one side and the county jurisdiction's on the other, technically that all becomes our road.
Just one other question. So with the partnership that you described, with Sawmill Road and is that part of the partnership conversation?
Oh, that's in my updates for what the resident Terry came in last month to talk about.
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious because it has
Um,
funny jurisdiction type thing, right?
technically it's all of Whiteland on the east side, so it all becomes our road. It's all ours.
Well, maybe they could
But
help.
we can still, yeah, absolutely. We're working on we are working on the roundabout together. They're at Sawmill Center Line and Whiteland Road. We are working on that as a partnership. And I think there's more opportunities for us to do this. The next project that I want to tackle with the city of Franklin and Johnson County is Paul Hand east of Graham Road. That needs some serious attention just with the amount of trucks that just find their way onto that road, whether they meant to get there or not. So that is the next big project that I think would make sense to partner with the county and the city of Franklin. Mayor Burnett and I have been talking about that one quite often.
So this 24,667 not to exceed that number if they.
You would say if you round it up to 25 and you tell me. And
Well, I'm just wondering.
the total price was 74. I didn't write the exact down, but it was so this is about a third of what.
Gonna mill it and then Murphy Law knocks on the door. The next thing you know, it's got a big pothole in our section, right? I mean, you know how this is gonna work.
Right.
So,
You tell me.
Tim, what's your thoughts, Brad?
I think it's a good thing. I mean, I really do. I hate to say it because paving's expensive, but let's be honest. People in town assume that right away. Most of them does. If nothing else, we're gonna look good for paving the road. I mean, all the way through. I mean, they, just like the little road there in my subdivision going out, that's New Island. You guys still take care of it. You guys still maintain it. I mean, everybody assumes it's, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's something what needs to be done. And I wouldn't think that the county would do something out of the ordinary. But our inspector will surely be there because this is getting paved in our area. So we have to be there to monitor the temperatures on the asphalt, to make sure they're rolling it before it gets 106 degrees. I mean, there's a lot of things that our guy could go out there and just be a friendly reminder, kind of watch out what's going on in our area. I don't think it's bad.
Should we add a little extra? I mean, and do we have this in to where we can afford this? So do we add a little extra for what ifs?
I think we just approve it, and then if something were to come up, I mean, we want this, we want to see it done, right? I mean, like this all sounds great, and we're not even having to be the project manager on the whole thing, so this is actually even better. And so like if something were to come up and it's realistic, then we would approve it also.
Yeah.
You know, but like, I mean, let's go ahead and get full authorization for what Carmen's requesting. And then, you know, like hopefully everything just goes super smooth. But yeah, we're not even having to
That's your
hire the
motion?
contractors.
Is that your motion now? I think that's your motion.
Yeah, yeah. Move to approve Carmen's request for payment for partnership with the county, $24,667.
Have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Tim Brown,
Yes.
Brad Bodeck,
Yes.
and Richard Hill.
Yes.
All right, pass 3-0.
All right, as a legal matter, that should be documented through an interlocal agreement. And that's
We have
pretty cut and dried at this point. We've got others that we've done similar ones, so. Do you wanna?
I just assumed
work on
you've done
getting
that.
something like that, I was gonna say prepared by the county and proposed to us, and because of the relationship that my firm has with the county, it's probably best to run that through Lynn.
My next update, and I've got, for Brenda, she's here. So
It's called Maple
this
Crest.
news came last month.
It's Maple Crest.
It's a council meeting to discuss the concern with how the water stands on her property. First of all, this is not the first time we've discussed it or addressed or been made aware of the issue. The whole subdivision of Maple Crest, which is west of 31, includes Arlington, Ardmore, Parkway. None of that has true like drains in the ground. And so Brian went out there and worked on, we had some, unfortunately, a lot of rain. So we got to see how the dirt work that was done at 240 Arlington, what happened when it did rain and how that did work. So a couple of things. We know there's an issue, okay? We know that there's pretty much very limited infrastructure, and the way that the storm water is conveyed right now is through swales and then pipes underneath the driveways. We did discover that some of those pipes under the driveways are collapsed or, you know, not functioning properly, or again, creating that standing water. But adding the dirt did not improve the stormwater conveyance. It actually made it worse. But Brian went out and did some shooting some points of elevations, does have kind of a project that we could look at doing and replacing those storm pipes underneath driveways and regrading the swales the way that they should be able to get to the south end of where Arlington and Ardmore?
Yeah,
Okay. Where Arlington and Ardmore intersect, and that is where there is a storm drain. I bring this to your attention because we have a lot of stormwater concerns in the entire town. Yes, this neighborhood doesn't have pipes, it doesn't have curbs, it doesn't have the curb and gutters to convey that water to where it needs to go to get into our stormwater system. We are aware of that. This is a stormwater board type matter. I'd like to take it to the stormwater board and start having them be the ones that tackle these type of projects. That's what the stormwater board does. They're to be taking care of these projects. The one thing that I challenged Brian to also do is similar to what we've done with our water and our sewer utilities. Identify our assets. Let's get them mapped. Let's identify our problem areas. Let's get some prioritization of what those projects look like. Let's put some cost estimates to it, and let's start getting these projects done. Typically, the way that we handled stormwater projects in the past is we would wait for a resident to call and say, we'll put you on a list. and then attempt to tackle them. But the list just keeps growing and growing and growing. We did get a proposal from an engineering firm to help us create an asset management plan. Asset management plans are going to be required if we plan to go for any kind of state. So it is something we're already going to need to do. The proposal was very, very high. So we met yesterday to talk a little further about what other engineering firms we could reach out to. We diversify who we have somebody we use Wessler for sanitary, we use HWC for water. So we wanted to give another engineering firm a try. Like I said, their proposal came back very high. That would be to GIS map all of our assets, help us figure out what we have, what we don't, what's working, what isn't, and then again, create those projects from there. So we are working on it. It would be a recommendation to have you can see in the pictures after the rain did occur that push it out onto the road, which isn't necessarily a problem now, but in the winter time, that could become a problem. The other thing I will say, and again, I think we have a stormwater board meeting tomorrow night, so I plan to take this to them tomorrow night. Not only what we're planning to do with onboarding an engineer of sorts to help us get our assets taken care of and figured out and prioritizing some projects, but also how do we help these residents get their stormwater moving? How do we prioritize when people have been coming before this body as long as I've worked here with the same issue that hasn't gotten resolved either? And so that's where I want Ms. Wade to know that we're trying to work on things. My goal is to not just say, we're going to put you on a list, is to get legs on some projects and start making some larger headway. So I just wanted to give you guys an update. Brian and Armando did a great job of pulling this together and just kind of taking the pictures, preparing, even cost estimates of what it would cost for us to do that. Not saying that we can't do that project quickly, but I'm thinking of one particular resident that has come to this in front of this council 4 or 5 times. And actually and it's one that commented on a Facebook post that we had and said, well, what about my property? And it wasn't anything, I forget what the post was, but it was, my property's flooded in my front, door. And again, I'm not going to digress off of this. I just wanted to know that we heard Ms. Wade. We're not just going to say like, hey, we're going to put you on a list, but we ask, like, we want to try to do it the right way. And it's not necessarily going to be at the timeline that all of our residents want and so on and so forth. And as we've done road projects, we added back here in Spring Hill, didn't have any they used curb and gutter to get everything there. When your curbs are cracked and, the road isn't level, the water went nowhere. And so when we've done these last couple of road projects, we've added in storm pipes where we didn't have them. I'd love to say we're going to do that in Maple Crest in the next 5 years. I just, again, we don't know until we know what the costs are going to be. So just wanted to give you that update and that we're not just letting it that figures. But I'm going to take it to the stormwater board tomorrow night and just kind of talk about our plan to get assets and priorities and projects and then get some costs tied to those.
Carmen, how do you put a subdivision in without stormwater, sewer, and
So that subdivision was built in the 50s.
Done that way, been done that way for years. Anything old doesn't have stormwater, and we run into the same thing where I'm from. It's just the older sections. It's one thing that they really didn't push a lot on. I mean, back then they used to dump concrete, wash concrete trucks out on the road. It wasn't a big deal back then. Now it is. Things change, and once we seen the problem, everybody decided to fix it, and that's where detention and retention pumps.
And Richard, most of that neighborhood was constrained, and just like anything else, even French drain, will end up backing up, filling up with silt, and then the water has absolutely nowhere to go. And we found that the hard way by replacing, water service lines and so forth.
Right. I mean, it's just old town, and it's nothing wrong with it. It's just how they done it back then. And unfortunately, now we gotta figure out how to do it because we are getting more rain, more ground. There's more pavement in the area. The water don't have the ground to run off into like it used to, and it's pushing it on the roads.
Nice presentation, first of all, and thank you, Brian and Armando, for the attention to detail and Mrs. Wade and kind of working with her. So I look forward to hearing more about where this is going, to be honest with you.
The other item that was brought up by a resident was Mr. McGuire in regards to Centerline Road. And so I called Crossroad Engineers. That's primarily who we've used for our street. And I asked what could we do as I will call it a temporary fix, because if you remember, I said
Drop off.
I'd love to, take care of it today, but financially, we just don't know what that looks like. And part of it, we don't have right of way. And so on and so forth. And so Trent Newport, the president, CEO, or exactly his title is, I can't remember, but so Trent had suggested doing something similar to what they've done out on Honey Creek Road, where they've put a compacted stone shoulder along Honey Creek. I believe they've done it on Saddle Club as well. And he said, even though it could be a temporary, but it's the intent could be that it could be a permanent fix until we could beef up the road. So I had Armando go out and take a look at that. And the only concerning area was just past Myers property on the west side of the road where it's the open farm field. There's some utility poles that are very close to the road, 32 inches.
32 inches. Correct.
32 inches from edge of pavement. And so if we were to put a 2-foot stone shoulder, we're right there on top of the utility pole. We don't have any right of way there. But I think that even if we were to do an improvement there to prevent, the risk of people going off the road, I don't think we'll have any issues there. We just may run the risk of now we've created a little extra area where not like somebody's going to target the utility pole, but if they go off the road, hopefully that's the risk you run now is that they could hit the utility pole. So Armando's still working on the cost estimates of what it would cost for us to rent the machine, the material. I know that there was some conversations after the council meeting last month of maybe putting millings in there. But again, after I talked with Trent, he had suggested the compacted stone. As we're still kind of playing through the numbers with that to get a good cost of, and that's something we could do now, pending finances, but way cheaper than having to tear out the road and repave the road. So that's progress on that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the golf cart ordinance. I need to take a nap. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. Like Carmen, stop. And then the last thing was the golf cart ordinance that a resident online had asked for. Billy did get me a draft, but we've not reviewed it. Derek has asked to review it as well. So that is in progress as well.
Can I get a copy of that? I'd like to see that
Yes.
that you're
Yeah.
posting.
To be honest, he sent it Friday and I haven't even had a chance to read it. So yes, I will send it to you.
Send it
Yeah.
to town.
Yes. The last thing, just as an FYI, in my staff report, or in my town manager report, I did put that we're having some issues with Warrior Trail and those the one county property that did develop, and we had them put in a cul-de-sac at the end. In July of last year, you all approved pending legal counsel, their approval of their maintenance bond for the road improvements that they did. They have still not yet complied and gotten us what we need. I talked to Stephen and say, can we make them reapply for a maintenance bond? I sent them a very strong email today because we continue to have trucks, semis parked at the very end of the road. It's hard to tell what was existing town right of way, what's the new, and we can't really enforce it because legally it's still not ours because it was pending legal counsel. They've not participated in or tried to. Now for the last probably 5 months, I've been dealing with their bank, the mortgage company, because they do have a mortgage on their property. I sent them an email today because they are going to the county asking to bring more trucks down the road and parking them on their property. So I basically told them, we're not accepting this maintenance bond. We're probably gonna have to go back and do a punch list. The road is already failing. So I am planning to go myself, and I'm gonna make Billy go with me too. I know the BZA meeting is at the end of June. Is it June 23rd? Is that what they said? June 23rd, their staff report's gonna go out on the 16th. I'm going to, that one isn't the variance, but I'm going to stress to the county planner and to the body that's going to be reviewing that, that they should not be allowed to bring more trucks into that parking lot or into that parking lot. The road is already failing. It's already alligator cracked, and it's bad already, and it's not even a year old. That road needs to be concrete. So my request is if they want to bring more trucks, they need to concrete everything that they just put in asphalt. The other property, so that's 5440 Warrior Trail. The other property is 5432. That is the one that has the blue house, of which has been a problem child for our police department and other units, you know, within the town of Whiteland. It has always brought a lot of riffraff, I will say. They will park trucks there. They will do a lot of things that are, you know, we're not going to talk about tonight. They're wanting to make that truck parking in a dispatch area. I've already talked to the county planner. That is going before the BZA, their BZA, for a variance, and I write a do not approve. And just because Mr. Sadhu at 5440 has been he is a businessman. I do not have a problem with him. It's just, it's the type of the trucks that aren't following the rules, but 54, the other one, or 5362, they have just been a pain. And if they leave that house there will be people living there. There will be people staying there, and we'll have to continue to respond to all types of calls in nature with the police and fire. So just
Can we get a little more aggressive with this?
I mean, I all I can do is is present to the BZA, and it's up to the county's BZA to
This is Franklin's BZA?
county. The
County.
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 So, like I said, just wanted to kind of make you aware of that, because if they, so 5440 is wanting to bring another 40-ish truck parking spots, which would bring them up to 75. The road can't already handle it. And then with 5362, they're looking at 30 to 40 truck, semi-truck. You know, the only thing with the county, what they said is that everything around it fits truck parking. So to approve the use is it fits the use of things that are around it in similar use. But it's the wear and tear on our vehicles. It's still county. The county sheriff's department typically doesn't respond. They wait for our police department to respond. And there has been some not so great interactions with, again, the type of people that go to that property. So just violent in nature. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. We did with 5440, when they first went in for their variance, we did go to that meeting. I did, you know, say that I didn't think it should be approved, but if it did, then there were going to be commitments, and they did uphold the commitments, but now we're running into, we can't get this maintenance bond, the proper documents. And so I told them I was going to make them do another punch list. The roads failed already. And that start over another maintenance bond, if they can ever get their mortgage company to do what they need to do. So.
Keep us posted on that one.
Those are all my updates. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Thank you. Mr. Cox?
So over the last several weeks or a couple months, we've done a hiring process for one officer that's leaving to go to the sheriff's department. We've hired an officer, made an offer, he's accepted. Officer Brown will be leaving, his last day will be July 5th, and our new officer Tyler Perry will be starting July 7th. The next meeting, I hope to present him to the board. And I'd like to thank too Armando sat on our hiring board with us, helped us through it to have kind of an outside thought, outside voice in it, and just glad to have him on. That's the only thing I have for you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you. Yeah.
You ready?
Not here.
Armando?
Evening, Jim.
Thank you.
No reading material, nothing.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
A couple updates, like this one quick. So the street garage and the actual rebuild itself, believe it or not, this information is already outdated as of today, but the bottom line is starting on Monday, well, I mean, backtrack. This Friday, I'll have a meeting with the contractor. We'll go through the site, and starting on Monday, the slab will be torn out. Just a little bit of backwards, what went on with this. The staff here, Carmen and myself, along with Billy, we had meetings with the insurance. Finally, they responded to some things and gave us the approval to get the slab, or approved, sorry, the financials to get the slab removed. So that was a big blocker. So now that's going to get moving. Along with that, Carmen signed the CPR to get the state approval to get the building vertical. So we're hoping to have that within the second week of July, and then we'll be going, hopefully at that point, we'll have everything to go vertical. What this does for us in the interim is it helps them, one, tear the slab out, and then two, get the helical piles in, measured and ordered for what we're going to end up using for the slab, because it's more of a floating slab. That ground was found to be unsuitable for building or slab back in 2025, July timeframe of 2025. So we'll be moving forward with that starting on Monday. So that's definitely a positive note. Any questions in regards to the shop itself, the building itself?
Hurry up.
Yeah, believe me, once again, you were out there, right? So no, and Billy and I sat down and we went through the entire the plan set and looked at what we needed out there in the garage and what was actually going to be beneficial for the town, not in the interim, but looking at 20 years down the road, make sure that we grow with the shop, and we don't necessarily, or the shop, we can actually live in it, work out of it, and not outgrow it right away. So there's been a lot of work being done on that. Bob Glidden, that's moving along. They got all the concrete curbing in, definitely some pipe that we had discussed a while back ago, the concrete, all that went in. As we speak this morning, actually, they put the supports or the piers for the structure that's going to end up going in there. Is actually pretty impressive, the amount of concrete that they use in the center of that thing. But everything's moving and progressing. Right now, we're looking at around the second week of July for completion due to some weather delays that we had, and we lost a couple of days on another area, unknown utility and so forth, so on. But we're looking good there at Boblet, no issues right now to report. The yard cleanup, as of last Friday, we had 83 truckloads of material that has come out of that yard. It is just impressive to see how much stuff has actually come out. Richard, you came out there and seen it. And I know when I stand up here and I say that we have a lot of stuff and we have, upwards of 300 truckloads of stuff to remove, that's not an exaggeration. So right now we're about, I would say close to a third done, and we've removed, now we're probably closer to 100 truckloads. So just keeping that, that's moving, no issues there. I'll go down to the parking lot and I'll address the firehouse. That's complete. The concrete apron was removed up to a certain point so that we can get the elevations correct in the parking lot. So hopefully this is a done deal and we don't have any issues with the rain that we've had. We don't have any standing water, or nor have I seen any pooling water. So that's a positive sign. So that is complete. The only thing I have left to do out there is a couple ADA compliant signs. And once we put that on there, we should be hopefully good to go there.
Hey, Armando, are you gonna raise that trip hazard at all, or make that flush, or that valve? That's right when you walk in the door. The clean out.
To clean it.
They poured concrete around this other one. I looked at it.
Yeah, we did that last go ahead. Yeah, we fixed that one.
But this one over here at this door, it's still got a dip in it. Are you gonna
Okay,
change the elevation of that or something?
I'll change
Cap or something? Okay, thank you.
It's the gutter clean out. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking. I'll address that. I'll get on that one. And then the last thing on there is the firehouse generator. I know that's an upgrade that's needed, or something that's just needed in the firehouse. So we're currently working on that. It's gone out for bids, walked through the entire firehouse with the engineer, electrical engineer, and we came up with a size that is conducive to that and to allow for growth. I just wanted to put that on there. Just for SA, for situational awareness. But pending y'all's questions, that's all I have for now.
Just real quick, so, pinged Armando and Carmen. I went out there last Friday, so I appreciate their time. They're doing a heck of a job. It's a lot of debris there. We're making progress in the right direction. You're doing a great job, you and Carmen, everybody's doing, so I was impressed. Never been out there, so I appreciate your time. The roundabout, it's gonna be pretty cool. So it's always neat to go out in the field and put boots on the ground and spend some time. So again, I appreciate your guys' efforts and everybody's efforts on all these projects. So it's a lot different to see it than just read about it. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Mr. Richards.
Hey guys, I don't have much, just a quick hydrant update. We are down to just 2 out of service. One was supposed to be completed yesterday. Unfortunately, we ordered a line stop and the manufacturer sent a insert valve. So it's gonna be a hydrant that's being deleted. It sits in between 2 hydrants that front end and end is 483, code is 500. So we're just gonna remove it. The other one, we're hitting delays with gas markings and locatings. I don't know if you're having the same issue in your area, Tim.
We are. Gas companies really behind on locates. They're just, I'll be honest, doing what the heck they want to do, and it's frustrating on our end and our contractors' end.
Very.
I feel
We've got an open ticket for just a stop sign replacement. They've pushed back 2 weeks on us. So.
And they're allowed to push back up to 18 days.
Yeah, they're using every bit of it.
And that starts our ticket back over
Yep.
at 18 days. So then now they got another 4 days. Then they can push it. It's bad. It's bad with the gas company locating property. They had 3 hits the other day. Contractors just said, fine, I'm digging.
There's some big discussion at IURC on, well, who's at fault at that point?
And it's gonna come to an ugly head.
Very.
It is going, because their locators don't have the help to keep up with it. And, now their contract's up this year. So who knows what's gonna come in, but it's an ongoing problem that the gas is not getting located on these jobs.
So the only saving grace we had on the one that we were gonna remove is that it was already hydrovac and opened and confirmed nothing in the area. But again, and it was 100% the manufacturer, they owned to it. There was a 3-week lead time on that part. We have spoken to them. They accepted that, yes, it was supposed to be a line stop. They shipped the wrong thing. They are putting a rush on it. As soon as it maybe here's Friday, I said, we are not doing that on Friday. 4-inch transite line. I'm not touching that on Friday. We'll move that to Monday next week, provided it comes in as the right part.
Was this a line stop just to kill the hydrant, or was it a line stop in the line?
Just to kill the hydrant.
Okay, because if it was in the line, you could have used a valve and just used it as a maintenance purpose if
Yeah.
they never did blow up.
Yeah, well,
Satisfaction.
it's a stretch of Front Street that's troublesome. So we're just going to kill it fully right there with the line stop and be done with that one. So I believe that's.
There's no way to shut it off. There's not enough valves in there to shut. Like say, if you lost a block, put 5 people on a boil, or just notice versus spending the 10,000.
My first year, our first 3 digs were on that line, and at no point would it ever shut down. So that is on the list.
Just curious.
We had discussed about adding in actual inserter valves where we could.
Right.
That one's going to be a double pain because they threw the gas line in the same trench. So the gas line sits here, the water main sits here.
Right.
So.
And that's the whole thing is putting it in there. And since they screwed this up, you might be able to talk to them about giving you a discount on an insert valve somewhere else.
I'm tempted to tell them, hey, go ahead, keep that one because that's.
It would be a bad thing if they give you a discount on it,
Yeah.
They have one put in on a problem area that we don't lose it when they hit something in Park Forest, that the whole town don't lose water, because that's frustrating.
Very.
Very frustrating.
Frustrating for you as it is for me.
So out of all the hydrants, we only have 2 that are out of service
2 left.
out of the whole town of Whiteland.
10.
Okay. And then everything has been flushed. All the hydrants have been flushed.
Yes, that was gonna be my next one, is hydrant flushing is completed, actually working on some discrepancies. You have one hydrant that is gonna have to definitely come out. The small discrepancies where the guys struggled to get the caps off and everything. We've gone out with heat, hammers and leverage, got them out, checked threads, cleaned them up, tested them, little hydries, and they're back up and running. Actually,
Okay.
when we're in your neighborhood today.
Really?
Mhm.
I'm just concerned about the one on Aaron's Court. That's all I care about.
Oh, no, I'm gonna remove that one, Richard.
Or yes,
You don't need
you
it.
might have to fight the owner on that. No, hey, great job on your team, everybody, Carmen, everybody involved on pushing through, because it was, I mean, this was a pet peeve, so I took ownership of it and I was pushing the buttons. So thank you for making that a priority.
Absolutely.
Okay, Carmen, you like that? I was pushing. She knows. All right, thank you, sir.
I don't come for the paycheck.
All the ownership. It's called ownership of your job.
Mr. Jesse,
Good evening, everyone.
hello.
I'll try to make this as quick as I can. Updates from the wastewater treatment plant. Biggest thing, Richard knows, I believe, but the others don't. Friday, we had our inspection from IDEM. In the report, we had a non-satisfactory for the collection system due to INI, which is an ongoing issue. Until we get that issue corrected, it will continue to be non-satisfactory. I also got a moderate non-satisfactory for maintenance, where the raw well had raised up from the rain the week before. I was waiting on us to get the back truck and it hadn't gotten cleaned up yet, but it was contained where it should be. That has since been rectified. It's all cleaned. And then I'll be writing a report back to IDEM here probably next week sometime.
You'll put me on copy, sir.
Yep, absolutely. And as far as the treatment plant goes, last month, we did, we were at 122% capacity, which is about 31.66 million gallons for the month. That puts us at 95.2% for the year. And then we were at a 97% whipple rate. So
95.2% is our average cap.
now is for this year, yes.
So eventually you're gonna have to put a hold on subdivisions, is what he's telling us.
We're getting there.
We're getting to where it's
Yeah,
knocking down the door real hard.
more to come on that one.
Yeah, especially with everything coming in. I mean, it's,
The apartments are what make me nervous.
yeah, cause that's big. The apartment's a big cost to the town. Hopefully.
We'll have a plan. We'll have a plan.
Yeah, we've got some stuff together. We're still working on the Chowdo project. I forgot to mention it. Carmen and I are gonna go sit with the school board next week and talk to them and kind of see what we can do. We're trying to come together with the county to kind of maybe do a dual project, or maybe even if we could just design both projects at the same time. So that way, when they go to do their project, if ours is already in the ground, we won't have to move it. And things like
That's a big thing for me right there. And we need to be in a private right of way.
Yeah.
We have to be, because if it's in a private right of way and someone comes in and takes and wants to do a project, they have to pay us to relocate it.
Right.
We don't get stuck with it. That's a big thing with me. I've seen it happen many times in our area.
Yeah.
As long as it's in a private right of way, we got paid to move it. If it's not, if it's in a road right of way or utility right, we got stuck paying the bill to move. So what are the thoughts with the school? Have you getting good, warm, fuzzy feelings from it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you read that?
I read that one.
So the school's been receptive. I think we'll find out at the a little bit more. Kind of the gist that I got was that they want to see both projects done at one time.
Well, I think someone needs to mention on the, how much of a discount we give them on the sewer, on the new building. And they need to bring that up, that the town has worked with them other ways.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's a big thing with me, because it's gotta be in a private, it's gotta be our right of way.
Hey, Jesse, on the county project, don't we have some connections now with the county commissioner that can?
I do not, but
Carmen does.
We've been with the county surveyor and his team pre-tornado, when Dr. Spray was the superintendent at the school, because they know that this is an issue with, we call it White Little Lake up on the northern part, where that comes through from Center Street. They did do reassessments of what everybody pays that are along the legal drains. They have $80,000 in their bucket. So each legal drain, whatever feeds into those monies stay within that legal drain. So that's the Brewer legal drain. They only have $80,000. We've asked them to put together a cost estimate. It came back at about $700,000 to $900,000. We met with them, met with the school superintendent and the director of operations, and again, the county surveyor's team, and said, what if we open ditched north of Whiteland Road? They don't want to do that not Whiteland Road, Whiteland Elementary. They don't want to do it by the elementary school because of kids and open ditch and bad news, potentially. And so phase the project or do two different types of projects than pipe the whole thing, because piping it'll be way more expensive. They sent us back an estimate with the same figures. And it was the piping the entire 2,400 linear feet. And I said, you're not understanding this is not what we talked about. We talked about getting a cost estimate. So we're having some communication I think they want to see a project done. They're very optimistic that a project will eventually be done. They have $80,000. I've talked to Stephen. Could we help to fund this project? Yes, we can. But I need them to do the work on what do you want? How much is it going to cost? And we're just not getting where we need to with the county. He's a surveyor. He's not an engineer. They do have an engineer. Well, he's actually kind of a surveyor too. Never mind. I'll stay there. So we're just having some challenges with getting some good traction. And then they could do it a special assessment, but who are they going to assess the most? The school. So it's like, let's just do the project and I just need to know how much it's going to cost, or even just to design it and say, put ours in a private easement. But the school has a concern because they have a geothermal field that goes where the old baseball diamonds are. And we will have to cross it because it serves the Whiteland Elementary as well. And so they're just very concerned with whatever goes in the ground and to try not to excavate twice if we don't have to protect that geothermal field that's out there. And, the school board is not probably going to make a decision, but we're trying to keep them informed. It's we're stuck with what is the county surveyor. I mean, we're not going to take ownership of the legal drain to say we're just going to do the project because they're the ones collecting the tax dollars on it. So it's been challenging trying to get with them, but a couple of the commissioners do sit on that drainage board. And so we may just have to go to them next and just kind of show it to the next drainage.
Wouldn't hurt to plant a seed that you're having some trouble and let them push some buttons.
Selected, so.
Yeah, but the thing about it, that's a big pipe.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be a monster to do the 100-year flood and everything. I mean, to me, you'd almost be better to open and just swell it, open ditch it and plant it in grass or riprap or something like that, which would actually cut costs down. It would be a lot more affordable if we did a nice 3-to-1 slope that you can walk down. Versus putting a pipe in, and that still gives us enough room on the high side to put our sewer line, which would be in a private easement too. I mean, there's ways around it. I mean, we've got a big one running through our area that I just dug it all out with an excavator, put a 3-to-1 slope, and then I put riprap back at our wastewater plant.
Yeah.
I put a new culvert box in for a new bridge going to the back. And so I did all that, and we did cut it in and everything, and it looks nice and it holds water real well. I mean, that's where I would almost want to see first. That pipe's going to be awful big and awful expensive.
I mean, is that an option that could be considered?
Well, they would open ditch it north of Whiteland Elementary.
They don't want it open ditch by.
They don't want
On the backside of the elementary school because of the kids.
The other thing that they're discussing, but I don't know if it has legs, is to make that an urban drain. So that lessens the easement. Right now it's 75 top of bank on each side. And so if it's an urban drain, it brings that easement in. That's great, but we'd still have to encroach it, but we still have to. And if the other option is to go down Center Street, and that probably triples or quadruples the project cost. So,
Because you're paying for all your easements.
and we have to tear up the road.
But you're gonna pay for a school easement regardless. They're not gonna give it to you for
Yeah.
free. Let's call it what it is. We've been down this road before on some, one never got put back in. So we're gonna pay easement from wherever we put it, regardless whether we put it down the street or we put it on the school's property. Whiteland's gonna pay for an easement.
Sure.
Just in my opinion. So I think we need to check which avenue is gonna be best, because that really has to stay in a private right of way. I can't stress that enough. Because if they decide to add on that school, they can come to us and say, move it. And it's our cost to move it. And then we're gonna be scrambling where we're gonna move it after this. So that's something really we need to look at really hard.
It's something we're definitely hammered. It's
I'm sure you,
private easement.
okay. I appreciate that. And I trust you and Carmen both and all of you to make the right decisions, but I'm just giving you my 2 cents in actually dealing with that side of easements, knowing what it does in my area, how it does cost so much for the town to come in and move something because it wasn't in private. That's why we always buy private easement, because then we're protected on our end that we're not doing it later on. Because they can come back in a year and say, we need to move, we need our property back, and you're gone.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Thanks, Jesse. Appreciate it. Council comment?
Thanks for paying the hydrants. I did want to let them know I ride around last
Have
night.
Any public comments
Check
from
them all.
the audience? Do we have any online comments? Any hands raised on? No? Okay, with that being said, we'll adjourn. Thank you.
Was that quick enough for you, Brad?